inspires me to teach is that I think it's a service, a profession, where we affect the next generation.
I love coaching, I love teaching, I love being in the house.
I'm one of 15 people in my family that have gone to this school since 1911. I love the school.
Every teacher has been phenomenal here.
I never thought I'd make it through Thanksgiving.
Lawrenceville was very important in encouraging me to follow the artistic inclinations that I had.
My teachers have encouraged me beyond belief.
Lawrenceville is me. I'm Lawrenceville.
I was here all my married days, and all the Cleve boys are my family.
Lawrenceville has been my home. It's been the start of a whole new me, basically.
As the first African American to be admitted to Lawrenceville in 1964, it really did change everything for me.
And we are trying to honor Lawrenceville's past and at the same time ensure that our future is as bright and promising as our past has been.
Lawrenceville really means the world to me. It has been my life, really, since I was 14 years old.
Talking to the Yale people, they said that the education I received at Lawrenceville is the best in the country.
Everybody would say, gee, I'd love to go back and be like one of my mentors, be like Chuck Wheaton, or be like Kenny Kerfel, or, you know, be a debonair, suave guy like Carty Lynch. And now it's up to me to carry on with that legacy and make it a similar experience for these guys.
The triple threat is alive, I think it's well, and I think Lawrenceville does it better than anybody else.
The duty night that's sitting around with 6 girls and just hearing about what they're doing for college, or hearing about what their weekend was like, or those types of things. It fills you with energy, it keeps you young.
I see teaching and coaching as one and the same. Like this court behind me is very much a classroom from 3:30 to 5:30.
1.05? Mr. Philpott, one thing I like about him in terms of his teaching ability is his ability to disregard his own expertise in his field and sort of relive the learning process with the students.
It's got to be an incredibly expensive proposition to put 2 of us in a classroom with ultimately 11 kids. It's got to be the most valuable professional experience that I can think of.
One of my mantras, or one of the things I think about when I wake up in the morning, almost literally every day, is this a place where teachers can learn?
Being awarded the Joukowsky Fellowship is just a tremendous gift, not just for me, who will be able to pursue a real passion that I have for history, but I think for the school too, because the first thing I'm going to do when I get back is it's going to come right directly into the classroom.
I think that Lawrenceville can be a really powerful experience to a teenager when they know that they've got adults who could be doing anything else with their lives, but they choose to stay here instead and stay up until midnight teaching kids physics in the upper common room.
When I get up every morning, I can't wait to get in here. There are great kids who come in all shapes, colors, and sizes who would benefit from this experience.
Diversity is really an important feature of this school.
Each year I have families, usually single mothers, who are making around $20,000 whose children apply to Lawrenceville. They are so committed to their students' education that they will tell me they can afford to pay $5,000 out of a $20,000 income, which I know is impossible.
Like, it's going to be hard to come up with a really...
My parents would have had a much harder time paying for this school without financial assistance.
We have students that come from an incredibly wide range of backgrounds, very, very diverse experiences with lots of different strengths and talents. They're going to live here, and we have a whole community that's designed to basically nurture these kids and help them bloom into who they're going to be.
I'm grateful every day for what this school's done for me.
Education really is the great door opener in this country, and it's the great leveler of our society.
Let's see, last summer I actually worked at Morgan Stanley as an intern.
Middle-class families can't afford to pay the tuitions at this point.
life if I didn't come here. I mean, I can't even imagine.
In 1936, Mr. Harkness gave money to Lawrenceville and a few other schools to introduce what became known as the Harkness system, and that overnight really transformed teaching and learning at Lawrenceville.
When we all sit around the table together, it's a family.
The best kind of Harkness table discussion is where the teacher is able to slowly recede out of the discussion with the idea that students start to take leadership.
So we've really tried to emphasize this idea that something that goes on in this campus has real application outside of here.
This spring break, I went to Serengeti in Tanzania with 2 faculty members and 15 students and had the most incredible 2 weeks of my life.
I recently took religion and politics in the Middle East, which is a course that I really don't think I'd be able to take at many other schools.
The classes in art at Lawrenceville has provided me with a really strong foundation to continue this in the Cornell Architecture, Art and Planning School.
I consider myself more of a math science person, but I end up taking so many English and history electives because I just enjoy them.
In the poetry seminar, we try to bring together our most interested writers. They write as much poetry as I can force them to in 10 weeks. But they also have the opportunity to talk with major American poets about how they do their work.
I've started Workshop Wednesdays where I bring in outside artists that come in from the surrounding areas, New York, Philadelphia, New Brunswick, and they introduce different styles of dance as well.
Music lessons, 260, count them, 260 per week over at the new Clark Music Center. It's just gone haywire.
Everybody has sort of a limit as to how far they can go in math. How can we take that so-called limit, wherever it may be at that moment, and keep pushing it back, and so that you can go a little further and a little further than you may have been ready to do before you came.
Where's science going in the future? Science is more than just taking notes in the classroom and spending 50 minutes a week in the lab. Science, even at the high school level, is about doing it.
We have an advanced chemistry seminar for students who are particularly interested or talented in chemistry, who attend Princeton University and do research projects with graduate students and a professor at Princeton.
We work in the labs, and what we focused mostly on was microbiology and this new field of cyanogels.
The robotics group that I work with was started by one girl who had an interest in robotics. We've won 4 national championships.
The Serengeti class is a 1-trimester course, and it culminates in the trip over spring break. And I guess what we learned in the class, we learned about the ecosystem, we learned about how it came to be that way, and what the different environmental pressures are on the ecosystem.
Aldo Leopold, a distinguished Lawrenceville grad who is credited with founding the conservation movement in this country, would be enormously proud of the Laurentians of this generation. We now have a robust recycling program on campus. We have dramatically decreased our energy consumption, and our dining services is a model green dining program.
One of the most exciting moments I've had as a teacher was when we took a group of students down to Florida to present to NASA. I had the NASA scientists come up to us and said, we've had graduate students who did not present as well as that.
Paradigm is sense. What we're trying to do is spread the technology so it reaches everyone, particularly in the humanities and the liberal arts. We're trying to enhance the educational process, make stronger what we do. The goal with technology at Lawrenceville is to make technology as transparent as possible.
I noticed immediately several things about Lawrenceville that, in my mind, rendered it unique. Let's start with the houses. They are houses, they are not dormitories.
We are here to not only support them in their learning and in their health in this point in time, but also to help them learn for the future how they can take care of themselves over the course of their lifetime.
There's lots of opportunities for kids to get involved and lead in lots of ways.
Last spring break we worked with Hands-On in Biloxi, Mississippi, and this past spring break we were actually in New Orleans working with Habitat for Humanity.
Well, the Crutch game is one of Lawrenceville's most important additions. It's the basis of the rivalry between Kennedy and Hamble, which I'm happy to say doesn't extend beyond the athletic fields.
This year I'm the Vice President of Discipline on the Student Council.
I helped to start the Cross Culture Club on campus.
I am a Thomas prefect, senior class of 2007.
I'm a senior prefect in Perry Ross.
We just have an incredible history of graduates going on to really make a difference in the world.
They give about 12,000 hours to more than 80 agencies in the Lawrenceville, Princeton, and Trenton area.
Last spring I won the William Wells Award, which I used to fund a documentary promoting autism awareness.
Almost as much as I love Lawrenceville, I love school camp.
The students here are very bright, and they'll be in a position to change the world in very profound ways. Providing them with the tools here to lead people effectively in the future is doing the world a great service.
As we celebrate our bicentennial, Lawrenceville can be enormously proud of the fact that we are one of the leading educational institutions in this country.
What was fundamentally important about the school when I was here hasn't changed a bit. Extraordinary education, character building exercise, phenomenal faculty, terrific campus.
We must each independently take a look at this school, take a look at who we are, and ask ourselves, what did this school do for me? What did it do for other members of my family?
I think Lawrenceville has taught me that trying your best at everything is what really matters.
Lawrenceville to me is really where I decided to take control of my own education and saw what my parents were trying to give to me.
Investing in Lawrenceville is investment in the generations of students who will come through this school.
It's humbling to know that you're part of an institution that's been going on for 200 years.
Don't underestimate the impact of living in an atmosphere of beauty and affection. People sense that when they've been here. It is an institution that adds up to more than the sum of its parts.